What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with some Destiny 2 news. And so Bungie have disabled one exotic and buffed another. We'll talk about those and early changes to this season's title seal. And we'll cover patch notes from an update this week, but also warnings for the Dawning, that was an unintended rhyme. Plus we have a teaser for the upcoming exotic quest mission this season with additional secrets linked to it. We'll also talk about some community drama, future weapons and more in the video. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this one and have a wonderful day. But without further delay, let's get into it. Firstly today, a few updates from Bungie. They tweeted that they've identified an issue with the J-Rabbit exotic scout rifle and have temporarily disabled the weapon until a fix can be implemented. And so there must be some relatively game-breaking bug with that weapon, and it's been disabled until further notice. Also though, players have pointed out that rapid-fire frame shotguns seem to have lower reserves than usual after the update launch in this season. And DMG said that this is a known issue. The team was doing some back-end work to clean up rapid-fire traits, and a small issue was introduced in that work. And so while they can't provide an ETA, the teams are aware and are working on a fix. There's also a bug at the moment where Freelance isn't getting a pinnacle reward when it's featured. That's something else that Bungie are looking into fixing, so bear it in mind if you notice that it's missing. And briefly on the subject of PvP before we move on, Bungie had loosely teased that we were going to see the return of the Exile armor for Trials, but now that the season has launched, they've updated the press kit for the season, and we can see that this set has been fully updated. And so it looks like that is going to be featured this week when Trials returns. Moving swiftly on though, in case you didn't notice, the API is back online, and so we can now use things like Destiny Item Manager and LFG on the companion app. It's positive that that's been fixed. But with the launch of the Dawning this week, Bungie highlight a couple of things to be aware of, and so initially the Dawning quest can only be completed once per account. And they say after the Dawning is completed, the Cookie Delivery Helper quest can be found at the quest archive on alternate characters. Additionally though, Bungie points out that the Dawning quest and the Holiday Oven are sometimes found on the third pages of EVA's inventory. Let us know if you guys have been doing the Dawning stuff this year. I did make a video yesterday breaking down some pretty good weapon rolls for Dawning weapons. Of course we have the new one, and others have been updated. On top of this, there's a new Dawning Bungie reward in the form of an emblem called Cosmic Hearth, and we can get access to that one by completing the Triumph Frozen Doom. So if you like the look of the emblem, be sure to complete that Triumph and then head to Bungie Rewards if your account is linked, and you'll be able to claim that one. That's linked down below. But additionally this week we got a hotfix, and Bungie say they fixed an issue where the Lightning Surge Warlock melee ability was not correctly triggering the effects of Felwinter's Helm. So it's good that that's fixed, and additionally they reworked the Guy Falcon's Hauberk, and so for new functionality, when you emerge from invisibility, your void weapons gain volatile rounds for a short time, and when you perform a finisher on an enemy when you're invisible, you gain a temporary boost to weapon damage and a reserve overshield for you and nearby allies. So a pretty hefty buff right there for that exotic, which is already very good. Obviously adding volatile rounds is pretty awesome, but even more bonuses to weapon damage and overshields simply make Gaia Falcons, well, one of the best exotics in the game, hands down. So let us know if you've used that one. Additionally though, in the patch, they fixed a problem where hipfire reticles were missing on slug shotguns. They also fixed missing ability energy on overridden pugilist, demolitionist, and wellspring. An issue where the Encore perk icon was showing when the weapon was stowed, issues with enhanced chain reaction on swords, and a problem where Icarus Grip and Air Assault wouldn't show the weapon's improved airborne effectiveness value. The final update though affects the seasonal title, and they reduced the number of triumphs required for the Seraph title from 10 to 9, and reduced the completion requirements by 50% for the Precision Loadout seasonal challenge. And so unlike last season, it's positive that they've made adjustments to that title early on, as opposed to having us grind out a bunch of requirements only to change them right at the end of the season. So overall, a positive right there, and give us your thoughts down below. Next though, for a quick mention of the weekly story, at the start we got a bit of dialogue between the Exo Stranger, Anna Bray, and Clovis in the Helm, and then on our mission to get into the Seraph orbital facility, we head back to Mars for the Heist Battleground, where we need to clear the Escalation Protocol nodes, so literally we're doing the Mars North part of the map Escalation Protocol for a minute. Pretty interesting that Bungie brought that back. And then when we head back to the Helm, Anna Bray gives us an update on our progress, as well as some extra commentary on Clovis Bray, so in case you wanted a recap of it, here it is.
First fragments are bonding to Red's code nicely. Plan's risky, but I'll be damned. Clovis wasn't lying. When I first woke up, I wasn't lost. I was wayward in the best way, just my ghost and a name on a badge. I imagined us Brays using reason to find right. Lone lights exploring the vast frontier, you know? I was proud of that fantasy. I modeled myself after it. Fantasies, all it was, obviously. I mean, you've met Clovis. He's a walking, talking embodiment of necessary evil. I miss Risk being a dark cave in the wilderness. Danger, or Golden Age tech. Balancing that tipping point was straightforward. Now it's less defined. And Risk is measured in the inches before Clovis's knife finds my back. I know it's coming, eventually. But if it means getting Red back, I'll manage the risk.
Speaking of story-related stuff right here, a couple of days back it appears Bungie accidentally, teased the eventual access that we'll gain to the orbital Seraph station as part of the Revision 0 exotic quest. And they said your journey has only just begun, prepare for the integration and help get the space elevators back online. Head to the tower to begin. And I wasn't sure whether they were referring to the overall story of the season, or at least working towards the point where we can access the station, or whether it was a direct instruction associated with the arrival of the mission. But Bungie decided to take it down, and I guess an interesting tease to the space elevators that will take us to the orbital Seraph station when the Revision 0 quest launches next week. Of course, a few days back, we got the new Lightfall trailer at the Game Awards, and players have pointed out some specific Neomuna weapons. Of course, we got a look at them briefly the other day, but you can see them on screen right here, the fusion rifle initially, that's followed by the hand cannon right here. Then as we look at the others, the grenade launcher, pulse rifle, and sniper rifle, players have pointed out that they appear to have the same models as the weapons from the moon back in Shadowkeep. Obviously they've been updated with the kind of LED effect that they have, which I do think is definitely cool in itself. But give us your thoughts on Bungie using those models again. One of the amusing things players have noticed is the smiley face on the grenade launcher right here. Hopefully they'll be pretty cool weapons, but I tend to agree with a lot of folks in the community. It is certainly a shame to see the same models again. Give us your thoughts on that down below. In the new year, we're certainly going to start to get a lot more information about Lightfall, and that conversation will pick up. I know a lot of us will be holding out to see what Bungie have planned. So share your thoughts below, but the final thing here, this created a bit of drama in the community the other day, as players highlighted some commentary from Bungie in a GDC panel, and that's where they discuss various elements to do with the production of the game. There's a section here, beware of over-delivery, you're creating patterns, where they're essentially describing the problem space of launching too much content. There's an example of an expansion with 2 raids, and how if Bungie were to do that, it would create expectations which are too high for future releases, and what they describe as implied future commitments, essentially saying that at times, despite the fact that developers may have a bit of additional time and a desire to create certain additional bits of content for releases, they end up putting that time elsewhere, right? As they feel that some of these additional things could be an over-delivery. And obviously, there's an element of that being an oversimplification in terms of the fact that at a certain point in development, it may be difficult to add extra things to an expansion, or indeed costly. Either way, players in the community don't like the idea that Bungie decide to not produce additional bits of content in certain situations. And I don't necessarily think it's about cutting content or taking it away, or not having a desire to delight players, as much as it is managing the teams and the resources for a given release, right? But that's just my opinion. I know there are a lot of different thoughts in the community. At a time where the model for content delivery in the game has got a little bit tired, and players are looking for more innovation in terms of updates that we're seeing, it definitely connects in a more negative way. But again, give us your thoughts in the comment section. And for today, guys, that is what we have to speak about in the video. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this one. And if you have, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. Plus, if you want to see more Destiny content, be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted. But otherwise, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.